Welcome to my kitchen on a cold and rainy November morning. Today we're doing a lunch for family, and the menu is going to be salmon tartare to start with, then slow roast beef with potato gratin and various vegetables. So a lot of it is based on Raymond Blanc recipes. So we'll start with a salmon tartare, which is what we've got here, and it looks complicated, it's a bit fiddly to start with, but in the end it is absolutely delicious. So here is actually the recipe. You can see tartare of smoked salmon. There are the ingredients. There's the main dish, the garnish, and then how to make a mayonnaise. But we're not going to be making a mayonnaise, so all we're going to do is do the salmon tartare to start with. The recipe actually calls for 2 people for 120 grams of smoked salmon, a quarter of red pepper and a quarter of yellow pepper, and 1 small shallot. Far easier to remember is by weight: 4 of fish, 2 of pepper, 1 of onion. Very easy. See my handwritten notes there? You can also do this with haddock or trout. If you want to do it with an oriental, you can add coriander and stuff like that. But we're just doing the basic one here, and it says start finely dice the ingredients, season and mix with 1 teaspoon of the mayonnaise, correct the seasoning, and then add lemon juice to taste. So easy. You can do cucumber and dill or mustard seeds or whatever. And then there's a way to garnish it, and then how to assemble it. But the video will show all that. So, here we go then. A tartare of smoked salmon. A Raymond Blanc recipe. Remember that I said 120 grams of salmon or trout or haddock or whatever you're using for 2 people. So we have 6 people to lunch, so theoretically we need 360 grams of fish. But actually experience shows that a little bit less is fine. So here we have 2 packets, each at 150 grams. So we're going to use 300 grams of fish. Therefore we need 150 grams of pepper in total, so that's 75 grams of red pepper, 75 of yellow, and then we'll have 75 grams of shallot. All the rest is really garnish. Okay, so this is how we do it. Right, so we're going to chop up fish, peppers and onion. So let's start with the pepper. What's the easiest way to prepare the pepper when we're going to chop it all up? The easiest way is to chop it across there. Why? Well, I'll show you. Right, we've cut the bottom off. Now we can cut down like that, and thus avoid all the ribs and the seeds and everything else, and it makes it a lot cleaner and a lot quicker. So that's what we do. We just go down there, and we now have something that we can slice up easily. So we needed 75 grams, so we turn that on. Turn it on, thank you. And that says 0 grams, and now we throw that lot on it, and we've got 86 grams there, so 78 grams, fine. So a lot of recipes just say finely chopped, but how finely is finely? Well, my kitchen slave, you see, compare her little fingernail with the size, and it's about right. There we go, and I'll try not to chop her finger off when I do the rest. I find the easiest way is to cut them into thin strips and then cut across the strips, and you've got the tiny little cube that we need. So, finely chopped red pepper in a bowl. We will use this bowl to mix all the ingredients together in a minute. So now I'm going to go and chop the yellow pepper and the fish and the shallots. I'll do a bit more about chopping shallots in a second. I start by chopping both ends off, and then if you look at the shallot, you see there are two pieces to it, really, two halves. And I'm going to chop down between those two. So there we are, and I've chopped between the two. And now I can just peel the outer layer off, and there we have two halves. This can be thrown away, or if you're making a stock pot, just throw it into a stock pot and make a vegetable stock. So now the secret with shallots is to slice first lengthways, because then when you go crosswise, then you can get the small fine chopped onion. What we need is finer chopped onion than the pieces that we did of the pepper there. So I'm doing the onion first before I chop the fish, because this board is going to get oily with the fish. So we slice them lengthways, but first have a little look at the width. Ooh, that's a bit thick. So what we do is we slice that down now in half this way, then turn it and slice it that way, and then finally that way. Do not try and do more than 2 layers at a time, because if you have 3 or more layers, then as you're holding it and the pressure of the knife comes down, then it'll squirt one layer out and it won't be even and it won't be nice. So I shall do those in 3 stages. First we're going to halve it, or if it's really thick then maybe third it or quarter it or whatever, but remember 2 layers. So there we are. First I've got 2 layers there, then I'm going to put it down and cut it lengthways. So there we have it cut lengthways, and now I'm going to cut across that grain. And there you have fine chopped shallot. Now weigh your shallots when they have been cleaned, in other words topped and tailed and outer skin done. Here we've actually got 34 grams worth. We want twice that, so another 3 little shallots. So I've done the peppers and the shallots all in my bowl. Now I'm finally doing the salmon. What I've done is take the side off right here, laid it on its side, and then split that in half, and then I'm going to chop there to get the same size, half a lady's little finger for the fish, and then we just do that for all the fish, and basically then the prep is just about done. All that happens after that is mixing. So I'll just chop that and then come back. So everything chopped, and now we're going to mix it all up. Beautiful colour combination, I think, but there we are. Now what we have to do is salt and pepper it and add some chopped dill, maybe a teaspoon or so, all of which you don't really want to see because you've all done it. So here we go. I'm going to add salt and pepper and chopped dill. So when you chop the dill, we don't want stalk, we just want fronds. So there we are, we've mixed it all together. Now what you have to do is taste if it's salty enough or peppery enough or whatever. Just get your balance right on your taste now. And then you add just a little bit of lemon juice and then taste again, and you'll be surprised just how much the flavours have been enhanced by the adding of lemon juice. It really is astounding. But there we are. So do a little bit of taste, get the taste right, add lemon juice, final taste, and then we get on to the next bit. So I have added the salt and pepper and the lemon, and everything is just as I want it. Now we have to make it just a little bit thicker. If you see this, it just sort of falls off. So the recipe, remember, called for 1 teaspoon of mayonnaise for 2 people. We've got 6 people, so I've put 2 heaped mayonnaises in, and we're going to stir it, stir it, stir it, stir it, stir it, stir it in till it's all even in. And what will happen is that it all comes together and it sort of clumps together. Instead of just running off the spoon, what we want it to do is just about hold together, like that. Do not put too much mayonnaise in first. Put too little in first and add a little at a time. If you put too much in, it's all going to suddenly go runny and sloppy. We don't want runny, sloppy food. So, have we got a lump? Have we got it holding? Yeah, just about holding together. That's perfect. And that's it. Basically, your dish is ready now. What you can do is do this up to 2 days in advance and keep this in the fridge before plating up. But there is another little trick that we will do to show you how good this is. So, just a quick recap. Peppers and salmon chopped to cubes about the size of half a lady little finger width. Fingernail width, not little finger, fingernail. So ladies, little fingernail, about half the width of that. Chopped, shallot chopped much finer, mixed it all together, added salt and pepper, splash of lemon juice and dill. So there we go, and the plating up will come shortly. So, plating up the dish. Well, it's fairly simple and actually quite clever, because we've got all these little rings here. So we get one ring and we put it in the middle of a plate like that. We're going to fill the salmon tartare in there. Not full, leave a little gap at the top because we'll be doing some other decoration. And then of course we're going to do it on various other plates. And the advantage of doing this is you can do this a few hours before your guests come, because you can get it all ready and the plate decorated and all the rest of it, and then you can just stack them like that and stick them in the fridge. And all you have to do to serve, a little bit of chopped tomato maybe, and a dill antenna, which I'll show you later, and it's ready to go. So you've got all this prepared before your guests arrive, and you can just go thum 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 and on the table. Right, so I'll show you how we decorate a plate. So there are all the rings been filled with the mixture and tamped down, not hard, but tamped down to get a relatively flat top surface. So now I'm going to decorate the rest of the plates, or to put it more exactly, I'm going to decorate each plate differently. Right, so let me show you what we do to start with. So phase one of the plate decoration, if you like, is to put little blobs of piped mayonnaise around the plate, just like that. It's very chefy to have an odd number. So do those first, and then now phase two of the decoration is to intersperse between the blobs of mayonnaise tiny little blobs of course, the very finest caviar. No one would ever think of using lumpfish roe, would they? Anyway, doesn't have to be done this way. You could use salmon roe, you could use, well, anything at all. It doesn't even have to be mayonnaise and roe around the side. But there we are, those plates are there. Then there's one final little tiny bit of decoration to do before we can stack them up. And then finally, when we serve it up, we're going to top off the rings there with some chopped tomato. And on top of the chopped tomato, we're going to have an antenna of dill, and another blob of mayo, and another blob of caviar, of course, caviar. So the final bit of decoration, we're going to use some cucumber. So what we're going to do is peel the cucumber, then halve it down there, get a teaspoon and scrape out all the seeds. Zoom, 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 like that. Now, if I just slice this like this, they're all going to stick to the knife. And the reason for that is it has a big surface area. But if you actually do the first one, then hold it there and hold the knife vertical, like that, then you can go, and it doesn't stick to the knife. So now we've got lots of lovely cucumber slices, and what we do is we're going to put them, when I get the room here, we're going to put them round the base of our tower. So we just go round, flat, there, and then we can go round and start a second layer. Like that, and we do a third layer. Do not do more than 3 layers, because otherwise the final dish will just taste almost entirely of cucumber, which we do not want. We want the other lovely taste of the salmon and the peppers and the onion and the roe and the mayonnaise and so on. So that is how we do it, and that then is ready to be stuck in the fridge, and you can stick it in the fridge for a few hours before your guests arrive. And then when you want to serve it, we're going to fill the top with chopped tomato, put another dob of mayonnaise on, put another dob of the caviar on, and a dill antenna to finish off our radio tower, and then we just slip the silver ring off and serve it, as you will see. So the kitchen slaves have taken over the kitchen to do their gratin dauphinoise, and I'm storing the plates on the balcony table on a cold and rainy November day, because the guests will be arriving in 2 hours, and that's fine, that'll keep it nice and fresh there. So we're nearly done. So now we brought them in from the balcony, now we're going to serve them, because what we do, I've put the tomatoes on the top with the blob of mayonnaise and the caviar and the antenna of dill, and then we just gently lift up, and there you have our starter. Ladies and gentlemen, Raymond Blanc's Salmon Tartare. And there is the table, ready for the guests to have their starters.